Tonight, reopening ahead of schedule.
The thing we're most looking forward to is going to a concert together.
Concerts, sporting events, indoor dining, gyms. What's allowed as the province announces it will be entering step 3 of reopening in 1 week's time. Plus,
get the place cleaned up, get it ready, and then obviously find some movies to play.
movie theaters will also be reopening their doors. How one independent cinema in the city is preparing after being shuttered for almost a year. And
because we speak their language, that's like one step in, like somebody already trusts you.
Crescent Town, a community in the East End, has the lowest vaccination rate in the city. What's being done to encourage residents to get the shot? Good evening, I'm Kelda Yoon. Ontario is moving to the next phase of reopening a week from today. That is 5 days ahead of schedule. The province made the surprise announcement this morning. This means gyms will be allowed to reopen, so will movie theaters and concert halls. Lorena Redekop has all the details.
For this family from Hamilton, the eased restrictions can't come soon enough.
I want to go to the Jays game with my wife. I want to go watch hockey eventually in the fall. But honestly, the thing we're most looking forward to is going to a concert together.
I've had these babies. I want to get out and live normally.
And today, the province's top doctor announced it's happening ahead of schedule.
It is an exciting day for Ontario.
As of next Friday, July 16th, gyms can reopen at 50% capacity. You'll be able to eat inside again at a restaurant. They won't have any capacity limits, as long as there's 2 meters between tables. Retail and personal care services will also be about distancing, not capacity. You'll be able to go to a concert, movie theater, and sports facility again with capacity limits.
Places like aquariums, museums, and festivals, as well as casinos and bingo halls, will be capped at a maximum of 50% capacity inside, 75% outside. Masks, they'll still be required at all indoor public places.
That includes nightclubs. They can reopen at 25% capacity or a maximum of 250 people, whichever is less. No distancing will be required when dancing. The Premier was out visiting a vaccination clinic today.
I just encourage everyone, please get vaccinated, because that's the reason we're able to move this forward, because the great numbers, and I give all the thanks to the people of Ontario. But folks, this isn't over by any means. We still have a good battle on our hands.
Increased vaccination rates are a big reason the chief medical officer is okay moving to step 3 faster. His one worry?
The variants of concern are what keep me up at night, and especially the Delta. I am very concerned that it's more transmissible, that it may tend to have a higher risk of hospitalization.
He also announced Ontario now has its first cases of another variant, Lambda.
I'm much more worried about Delta than Lambda, by the way. This new Delta variant is so transmissible that if you're not vaccinated, there's probably a 90% probability that during the next 6 to 12 months you get infected.
Ontario will remain in step 3 for at least 3 weeks. After that, almost all restrictions could be lifted once 80% of people 12 and up have 1 vaccine dose and 75% have 2 doses. That could happen as early as August 6th. Lorena Redekop, CBC News, Toronto.
As you heard, step 3 includes the resumption of indoor dining, something that hasn't been allowed for more than 400 days. Gyms have also been off limits for much of the pandemic. And today we spoke to gym and restaurant owners about how they're feeling and how they're preparing to open in just a week's time.
The first feeling I definitely had was happiness, not only for me, but for every other restaurant around us and everybody else in the industry. We're going to have to clear everything out. We're going to have to clean all the floors, clean all the walls, and start up again. And 5 days is a very short amount of time to do that. So thankfully I have a great team and a big team, and we're going to be able to slam that out in a couple days. So
at the end of the day, our bread and butter is our personal training and being inside of the gym. So it's going to take us back to basically where we need to be.
Have managed to sustain extended closures with delivery and patio service, while gyms have offered online and outdoor fitness classes to get them through. But independent stores relying on curbside pickup have had a tougher go, and there are fears some businesses may not be able to bounce back.
The average small business during the COVID period in new debt. I fully expect that there will be many businesses once they open their doors, realizing that there's no pathway back to profitability, and that's when they will make the permanent decision to close forever.
The CFIB is pushing for another round of small business support grants to help with that debt and for venues that will still have capacity limits like theaters. And speaking of theaters, if you're like me and have been itching to see a movie on the big screen, today's announcement is great news. Movie theaters will be allowed to reopen next Friday with 50% capacity. Our Jessica Ng visited an independent theater in the East End to see how they're getting ready.
Today we're at the Fox Theatre, an institution that's been in the Beaches since 1914. Movie theaters have been given the go-ahead to reopen as of next Friday. And that means there's a lot of work that needs to be done before that reopening. Let's go take a look. Upgrades to the point of sale system, updating the marquee and posters, which haven't been changed since the theater was last open for viewings in September.
Get the place cleaned up, get it ready, and then obviously find some movies to play because there haven't been a ton of movies coming out in theaters the last year.
What has been bringing people to the historic theater are popcorn nights.
And sometimes we'll have like 100 people lined up out front. It's been amazing. The community's just been so supportive. And that popcorn sale has really helped us to make ends meet.
He says they've even sold dedicated seats and designed new merch to sell.
We do a bit more of a focus on kind of the historical aspect of the theaters.
Because government subsidies alone haven't been enough to stay afloat.
These other initiatives are kind of what's helped us to make sure that we're not losing too much money.
Demois says they're planning to reopen for early August, starting with private rentals.
Half of our capacity is about 124, so we still have to map it out because previously when we opened, we were doing distancing without walking over people so that there was no crisscrossing in the same aisles.
There will still be plexiglass, distancing, contact tracing, and masks when you're not having a snack. Meanwhile, the big multiplexes will be reopening as soon as Step 3 hits. Cineplex will reopen its doors to the 50% capacity limit. And movie fans, they can't wait.
I mean, I'm double vaxxed, so that definitely makes me more confident.
Kids, I have a couple of grandkids, they like going to the movies, so it gives them something to do, other than staying on their tablets and that, yeah.
Just ain't the same without the big screen, which I'm passionately and counting the seconds till they open again.
Watching a good movie with an audience, there's nothing like it. I'm so excited, and that's kind of why we got into this business to begin with.
Jessica Ng, CBC News, Toronto.
Nick Cernkovich joins us now with a first look at the forecast. And Nick, gloomy skies, but not the downpours that we saw yesterday.
Yeah, no, not at all, Calda. In fact, yesterday we were looking at a system that brought with it anywhere from about 30 to 50 millimeters of rain. Toronto Pearson reporting about 30 millimeters of rain with that. That's pushed off to the east coast. It's actually merged with Tropical Storm Elsa, bringing a fair bit of rainfall out toward the east coast. For us, though, just some lingering light showers through the day today. Those are clearing out, though, and as we head through the overnight, look for clearing sky cover. A few fog patches developing through the overnight. By tomorrow, though, basically just straight sunshine into the afternoon. So lots in the way of sunny skies tomorrow. Temperatures also improving as well. Today, not even touching that 20 mark for the GTA. Tomorrow, though, back up to seasonal with temperatures up to 26 degrees. That follows 17 degrees through the overnight period tonight. Scattered showers ending. And then tomorrow afternoon, basically just sunny skies, south winds, 26 degrees, humidex of 31. Pretty good looking forecast for the weekend, but we do have some rain to talk about in the long range. That's coming up in just a bit.
Thanks, Nick. Starting tomorrow, the city will be allowing walk-in vaccinations without an appointment at 4 city-run clinics for anyone wanting their first or second dose. It's all part of a big push to get people vaccinated this weekend.
They're literally going to go and knock on a door or go to the lobby and meet people there or go to the local, points of interest, even going, in some cases, I know they've been distributing flyers in places where people get food or otherwise shop and make sure they know that they can get vaccinated.
The initiative will target 6 priority neighborhoods in the northwest part of the city that are behind in vaccine uptake. More than a dozen clinics will pop up in and near buildings where residents live, providing easier access to doses of the Pfizer vaccine. Brampton is doing a similar push, hosting a 40-hour dusk till dawn mass vaccination marathon from tomorrow morning until Sunday night. Now, Toronto surpassed a major milestone yesterday, hitting 1 million vaccines administered at city-run clinics. While this weekend's push will focus on the northwest part of the city, it's not the only part of Toronto lagging behind. There is a small, very small neighborhood with a large population just north of the Danforth called Taylor Massey that is also under-vaccinated. Now, some know that area as Crescent Town. Our Dale Manukduk has been looking into why vaccine rates there are so low and what's being done about it.
Taylor Massey, of which Crescent Town is a part of, ranks dead last in overall vaccination in Toronto.
We were not as badly hit in the initial stages as some of the other communities with similar demographic.
And because of that, the area was never designated a hotspot. Instead, attention locked in on other nearby neighborhoods like Thorncliffe and Flemington Park. That attention is now circling back, but the previous experience has been invaluable.
We actually just deploying some of those strategies building by building, so now we really have a plan.
Here's what we know about Taylor Massey's vaccination rates. According to numbers from the city, the area has the lowest percentage of residents who have received at least one dose, just 51%. It also has the lowest number of people 18 plus to initiate vaccination, and ranks fifth last in percentage of residents who have completed immunization. That's all of July 8th. Michael Guerin Hospital and community organizations are doing what they can to get Taylor Massey's numbers up.
We've recruited community ambassadors who are literally going door to door, apartment to apartment, trying to build up confidence and deliver vaccines to right where they're needed.
They've knocked on over 1,800 doors and in the first few days administered nearly 600 doses.
So which building do you live in?
I live in the corner building over there.
Razia Rashid is one of the community ambassadors going door to door.
So when we knock at the door, I think because we speak their language, that's like one step in, like somebody already trusts you because knowing the language and the culture that you are from.
As a team, the ambassadors speak upwards of 15 languages.
I speak Bengali, Hindi, and Urdu, so I couldn't help where the other person speaking Tamil was speaking with somebody who was Bengali speaking, so we switched.
Community leaders say the trust residents have with their neighbors is what's driving the rise in vaccination.
You suddenly see your neighbor getting vaccinated, someone is knocking on their door and they say yes. Even though you might be complacent, you start to kind of lean towards like, okay, I might get vaccinated.
One of my friend called me. He came and he got the vaccination. Then he called me and he said, they are giving the vaccine, so you can come and take it.
Vaccine clinics are running in Taylor Massey all weekend. Dale Manukduk, CBC News, Toronto.
The City of Toronto's ombudsman says the rules surrounding what people could and couldn't do in parks during the early days of the pandemic led to unfair ticketing. The ombudsman calls the information given to the public in the spring of 2020 confusing and inconsistent. Her inquiry found a lack of signs in parks that listed which amenities were open and closed. And some people were even fined simply for sitting on park benches. The ombudsman says the rules disproportionately affected marginalized members of the community. More than 280 tickets were given out by bylaw officers during the 6-week period that the report looked at. A friendly reminder for motorists, the Gardner Expressway will be closed this weekend for its annual maintenance. The full closure will run from the Don Valley Parkway at Carlaw Avenue to Highway 427 and the QEW. It will start tonight at 11 p.m. and last until Monday morning. Drivers should expect delays and plan their route well in advance to allow extra time for travel. Lakeshore Boulevard West, the Queensway, Bloor Street, and Evans Avenue can be used as alternative routes during the closure.
Everyone's saying this is a history in the making. It's one of the biggest teams, and I'm really happy that I get to go to my 3rd Olympics.
Still ahead tonight, GTA area badminton players prepare to jet off to compete in the Tokyo Olympics. It's the biggest badminton team Canada has ever sent to compete at the Summer Games. We'll speak with players before they go for the gold coming up. Welcome back. Closing arguments continued today in the case of a Toronto teacher accused in the drowning of a student on a high school canoe trip. Nicholas Mills has pleaded not guilty to criminal negligence causing death in the drowning of 15-year-old Jeremiah Perry in 2017. The Crown alleges Mills ignored safety rules in planning and carrying out the trip. That includes allowing Perry, who it alleges could not swim, to go in the water without a life jacket. The defense disputed the allegation that he could not swim, saying he would not otherwise have been able to reach the area where he drowned. It also argued Mills' conduct should not be measured against the best practices of experts, but rather what would be reasonable for the average parent. And meanwhile, the Crown urged the judge to consider the totality of Mills' actions in deciding whether he was criminally negligent in the boy's death. The cottage country contractor who was paid tens of thousands of dollars to restore a Muskoka cabin has been charged with fraud after leaving it perched in the air and unusable for the past year. Now, last year, we told you about Liz Saunders' battle with contractor Scott Eisenman. Saunders was trying to save the modest cabin her grandfather built in the 1930s. After paying $64,000, the contractor allegedly walked away, leaving the structure raised and tilting on wooden blocks. Saunders fought back and organized social media groups, urging other alleged victims to come forward. And it worked. The OPP stepped in and charged Eisenman with defrauding at least 6 other families. They've now charged him with fraud in relation to the work at Saunders' cabin as well. And she says it was important to expose the contractor for his alleged crimes.
That was my intention, try and protect new people, try and stop him. Yeah. So now whether the justice system will work is frankly anyone's guess. But in the meantime, his face is out there and hopefully we've put him out of business. And that was my main goal.
Saunders' cabin remains perched. She's launched a GoFundMe campaign hoping to raise enough money to get it back down. Cloudy this evening, and it will stay that way overnight, but skies will clear in the morning, making way for some sunshine, something we've been lacking the last couple of days. Currently, it's 18 degrees downtown. Let's go back to Nick now with a look at your extended forecast. And Nick, the weekend looking pretty good before the next system arrives on Monday.
Yeah, we've got a good deal of sunshine in the forecast, certainly for tomorrow, but even Sunday as well. Next week, that's going to be a bit of a different story. We've got some rainfall to talk about. Let's look at our headlines then. Temperatures on the rise. We've been below seasonal today and yesterday. Sunshine for the weekend and then unsettled weather as we get to the long range forecast. Here's a look at the forecast heading into tomorrow. Again, sunny skies across the board. There are some fog patches developing through the overnight. Those should burn off, though, pretty quickly. Then high pressure in place, fairly light winds as well. Sunday, we've got an approaching low. This is our next weather maker. Not a big weather maker, but it will bring some wet weather with it. It looks like Sunday morning we're going to start to see some cloud cover moving in. The model's a little undecided. I do think we're going to see some sunshine in there, but let's call it a mix of sun and cloud for Sunday. Into the afternoon, the chance we're going to see some showers along the shorelines of Lake Erie up to maybe Hamilton. But right now, we're calling for dry conditions in the GTA. It's not really until Sunday night till Monday where this next low moves in, and that's going to bring with it some rain showers for most of southern Ontario, really, and it'll be about a 2-day event. Not heavy rainfall, but sort of that persistent wet weather for a couple of days. Overnight tonight down in southwestern Ontario, we're looking at temperatures below seasonal, 13 degrees in Windsor, 11 out towards Sarnia. Fog patches again developing as the temperatures cool, but the humidity stays high. And that combined with light winds and clear skies, that's sort of one of the recipes for fog. There's a look at the forecast for tomorrow. Temperatures at 25 degrees. The Golden Horseshoe, more or less the same, just taking a bit longer to clear out here. Temperatures, though, 14 to 17 degrees through the overnight. Lots of sunshine, though, for tomorrow. Highs to 26 degrees. And the warm weather sticks around. Sunday, we've got a mix of sun and cloud. Again, a slight chance we may see some spotty showers, but generally should stay dry. Some wet weather Monday and Tuesday. Wednesday, though, starting to look good again. 27 degrees. Kelda.
Thanks, Nick.
Weather is brought to you by Train. To cool and clean the air in your home, it's hard to stop a train. Train, the most reliable heating and cooling brand.
Well, Denis Shapovalov's incredible run at Wimbledon has come to an end.
Nice punctuation to a good fight.
The Vaughan resident made it to the semifinals where he was playing the current #1 in the world, Novak Djokovic. Djokovic beat Shapovalov in straight sets. It was his 20th win in a row at Wimbledon, dating back to 2018. He'll now face Matteo Berrettini of Italy in the final on Sunday. And we're just 2 weeks away from the start of the Tokyo Olympic Games, and many of Canada's Olympians are making the final preparations. The Canadian badminton team has been training this week at the Pan Am Centre in Markham before flying out. It's the biggest badminton team we've ever sent to compete at the Summer Games. Our Greg Ross spoke to some of the athletes.
This is a history in the making.
Michelle Lee is no stranger to the Olympics. This will be her third, but this year she's joined by 7 teammates. Not only are they Canada's biggest ever Olympic badminton team, it's the first time Canada will ever compete in all badminton events.
It shows a lot of the potential that we have as badminton players in Canada, and I think badminton itself is definitely growing.
Something that surely helped grow the game is having a world-class facility.
Michelle Lee's overhand smash coming up.
While they're all training at the Pan Am Centre in Markham this week, 6 of the 8 players on the team train here year-round.
It's amazing just having a facility like this to train in. It's the bigger ceiling, bigger courts.
To be able to come together before Olympics especially and to train with everybody, practice with everyone, it's been really beneficial and really nice to have that team atmosphere.
But not even a world-class facility is enough to prepare them for what they will face in Tokyo.
With COVID, it's kind of, a bit scary.
Because of the pandemic, these will be an Olympic Games like no other. Fans will not be allowed in venues, and athletes will essentially be in lockdown mode.
No mingling with other athletes, you're pretty much just in your own room and then going to the venue and just doing your thing and then going back to your room, and everything is going to be very different from previous games.
Not even their families can go and watch, but they say at least they have each other.
Our team, we're pretty tight, we're really close with each other, so we always bring each other up.
The badminton team leaves for Tokyo on Sunday. The Olympic Games begin in just 2 weeks. Greg Ross, CBC News, Toronto.
And that is our show for you tonight and for the week. Thank you so much for watching. Maribel Tarouk has your next local newscast tomorrow at 6. I will see you back here on Monday. Have a great weekend, everyone.